What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new video. We are back with some more draft ladder rebuilds as we're at pick number 13 with the Toronto Raptors. It's anyone's guess on what the Raptors will be doing this offseason with their current roster, but today we'll be doing a Cason Wallace Toronto Raptors rebuild. Before we get into today's video, make sure you guys drop a like on this one and subscribe if you are new to this channel. As always, greatly appreciated. YouTube tells me that 63% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed, so if you fall into that 63%, it'd be greatly appreciated if you change that. Regardless, though, one thing is for sure, we went ahead and selected Cason Wallace with pick number 13 in this draft ladder rebuild. And as far as everything else is concerned, I have no idea what Toronto plans on doing this offseason. We thought at the trade deadline that this team might potentially selling some pieces away. Instead, they went out and got Jakob Poeltl and bought in on this team. So we're going to have to probably resign Jakob Poeltl since they did trade a first-round pick to get him. Fred VanVleet's a free agent. Gary Trent Jr. is a free agent. And then OG and Siakam are both on the last year of their contracts. So I just don't know what this team plans on doing for the future of this roster. It's anyone's guess. So I'm going to do my very, very best to see what makes sense, I guess. So let's get straight into it. Player options. Fred VanVleet declines. Scotty Barnes are accepting. Trent declines. Achua accepts, and then Otto Porter accepts, and I'm going to decline Thaddeus Young and Malachi Flynn. And then qualifying offers, Delano Banton is a free agent. I definitely wouldn't mind bringing him back as like a backup point guard. And then in free agency, if we take a real quick look at everything we have going on, of course, Fred VanVleet's a free agent. Jakob Poeltl's a free agent. I also think we have cap space, which we do. So obviously, we could go ahead and just not sign Fred VanVleet or Poeltl and go for somebody else. But I think I'm going to resign both of them because, like I said, Jakob Poeltl, Fred VanVleet. I don't know if I'll be keeping Fred VanVleet. I might actually sign and trade him, but Jakob Poeltl we're definitely keeping because they traded a first-round pick for him at the deadline, so it'd be kind of terrible if he just walked for nothing. Fred VanVleet, though, I'm going to sign and trade. I think I'm going to sign and trade Fred VanVleet. Since we do have Cason Wallace, I kind of want to just roll with him and see what we can do with him. And then Poeltl and Fred VanVleet we're bringing in, and then I'm going to sign and trade Fred VanVleet away. So we'll see what team makes sense. And then I don't think I'll be bringing back Gary Trent Jr. either. I'm just let him go. So we're just going to go ahead, sign and trade away Fred VanVleet because I think there's a lot of contending teams that would want Fred VanVleet, and obviously those contending teams will have cap space. So if we could trade Fred VanVleet over to someone that has a couple pieces they're willing to ship off, don't lose them for nothing, I think that would be the best case scenario for Toronto. And we're going to be sending Fred VanVleet over to Philadelphia for D'Anthony Melton. So instead of losing Fred VanVleet for nothing, we're sending him to Philadelphia to reunite with Nick Nurse, who's the brand new head coach there, obviously. This also could make some sense if if Philadelphia didn't keep James Harden or he left. But if they kept James Harden, they could have Fred VanVleet as the sixth man. So that'd be an upgrade over Tucker and Melton. They could figure out what to do with the rest of the roster. So that'd be a nice retool for Philadelphia. But we walk away with D'Anthony Melton, who I think is going to be a very solid guard for us going forward. I'll move him to the backup point guard. So I love D'Anthony Melton here. And then rest of free agency, like I said, I'm not going to bring back Gary Trent Jr. I'm willing to just let him go. And then free agency or the rest of our roster, let's see what it looks like. So Wallace, Melton, OG Anunoby, Barnes, Otto Porter, Siakam, Chris Boucher, and Tucker, of course, reunited here in Toronto. He hasn't been here in a while. And Achua, Jakob Poeltl, and Koloko. So I actually think I'm good with this roster. We're going to roll with it. So let's go trade the player progression without getting Gary Trent Jr. back. Banton is back on his qualifying offer. Barnes is up to an 86. Siakam's an 86. OG's an 82. Now, I really don't know the direction I want to go with this rebuild. Like I said, if things are going well and we're a good team at the deadline, then we'll probably just roll with it. But if we're just very, very bad and things aren't going the way we want them to, then I'm definitely going to have to look into potentially trading away either OG or Siakam or potentially both of them at the deadline. There definitely is the ability to do that. I'd prefer to trade away Siakam just because he's older, and I feel like we can, obviously move Barnes to the 4. That way he's playing more of his natural position there. But we'll see, man. I'm not banking on being bad. I hope we're actually a good roster. If we take a look at our rotation, it's going to be Melton, OG, Barnes, Siakam, Poeltl, Boucher, Achua, Delano Banton, and then Otto Porter, and then Cason Wallace as well. But I'm going to literally just run a 9-man rotation, and I actually want Cason Wallace starting this year. I want to be able to start him right away. So we're going to have D'Anthony Melton get more minutes than Otto Porter, who Porter is not going to be a huge thing or a huge thing here. So we're just going to go ahead and do something like this. Give Melton some minutes here. And I want Wallace to start. So he's going to get 30 minutes, and then OG can get 30 minutes as well. Something like that. And then we'll go with that for this season, and we'll see how things are going. If we're good, then I'll probably just see you guys in the playoffs. But if we're bad, then obviously we got to see what we can do at the deadline with maybe OG and Siakam. And obviously the one thing that hasn't been figured out with Toronto either is who the new head coach will be. So I just have Wade Burford here. But as far as shot tendencies are concerned, I do want to change Scotty Barnes' shot tendency up a little bit. While I'm taking some more shots. Siakam's is fine. And then OG, I'm going to move that up as well. And then Wallace I actually want to be really good right away as well. So I'm going to move him up to like an 80 and something along the lines of that. And that's what we're going to roll with for this season. And I'm also going to use the mentorship programs, especially with Cason Wallace. I'm going to have a mentor probably like DeAnthony Melton or something. And we'll go from there. So hopefully, or even Tucker, we can go ahead and, you know, give Cason Wallace some things here from PJ Tucker, who's 38 years old. So Giant Slayer, comeback kid. But I definitely want some good defense from Cason Wallace. So something along the line, or let's go workhorse instead of menace. So let's do something like that. So I'll see you guys potentially at the trade deadline, or in the or not in the offseason, or in the playoffs if we're a good team. So at the end of the season, we get Cason Wallace to make an all-rookie first team, and I'll show you why that's important in a second. As you can see, we did not stop the deadline to make any changes because this team actually did really good. We went 56-26, so how could I possibly justify trading away OG or Siakam after having a record like that? So I feel really good about where we're at. I thought for sure that this team was going to struggle and we'd be trading one of them or both of them, but instead it's the total opposite. We had 24 from Barnes, 20 from Siakam, and then 18 from Cason Wallace with 6 assists. So he was an impact player right away, which is absolutely amazing. And then Chua's up to 10, Jakob Poeltl at 8 and 8 with the block as well. But are we going to be able to do anything in the playoffs is the question. We get New York, who made it to round 2 last year, so this is going to be a tough test. Let's see where we're at as a team. Are we going to be able to take down New York, or we're going to go home in round 1? Let's go game by game here. So we're down 1-0 to start things off. Not a great start because obviously we're at home, but Cason Wallace with 28 points. So obviously starting out averaging 28 points per game in the playoffs after one game. Game 2, we even it up. I would love to get to round 2, especially after getting a 3rd seed. Game 3, we're up 2-1, 28 from Brunson, but we had 25 from OG. Game 4, 3-1. Do we beat them in 5 to get to round 2? We do, and we're in round 2. But unfortunately, we run into Atlanta. Let's see what Atlanta did this season, because as we know, Atlanta is just freaking good. 57, at least in 2K. 57-25 on the season for them. They were the 2nd seed while we were the 3rd seed. Game 1, we're down 1-0. We lose by 22 in game 1. Not a great start. Game 2, down 2-0. Game 3, we do win. Game 4, we're down 3-1. In game 5, our demise comes to an end in round 2. But the fact that we even made it to round 2 is pretty impressive. I honestly was not expecting that. We got Atlanta and New Orleans in the finals as you have the Hawks go on to win the championship. I believe, unfortunately, in the lottery, our pick does go to the San Antonio Spurs in this scenario because of the Jakob Poeltl trade, and that is correct. They have the 28th pick, so unfortunately, I also got the number 1 pick, by the way, from Charlotte, which I believe that pick is actually supposed to belong to Charlotte, but not my problem today, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to go ahead and keep filling this out, and then we can kind of figure out what we're going to do in free agency, because as we know, both Siakam and OG are both going to be free agents, and I think they're both going to be must re-signs after the success we just had. Wallace is only going to keep developing and getting better, so I think it's definitely something we got to do is re-sign them. I don't think we have a draft pick at all, so let me just double check. Yeah, we do not. Let's go to player options, and let's see what we can get from here. So Scotty Barnes accepts, OG declines, and Koloko, so we're accepting those, but Barnes or OG's opting to be a free agent, obviously. Qualifying offers, Achua and Banton, 2 guys that definitely would have interest in bringing back. And then free agency, you got Siakam, OG, and then Melton also is an important free agent for us as well. But I think I want to bring all of them back. OG for $28 million is going to be a tough pill to swallow, but based off the results we got from last year, I definitely think I want to bring both of them back. Although we might be able to re-sign like one of them and move on from the other if we wanted to go maybe get Jaylen Brown. Maybe. I don't know if I can pull it off, but that is definitely an idea. Kawhi could bring him back to Toronto as well. So definitely could do something along the lines of that. Because right now, we're going to have Cason Wallace locked into the point guard spot, right? I feel like if I was going to do this, I'm easily getting Siakam back and then maybe like Jaylen Brown. I think I would move on from OG if I was going to do something along the lines of that. We'll see if I can do that. Because right now, OG has no offers. I would be okay with moving off of Achua if we need to. We can have Koloko kind of develop in the background. But hey, if we can get Jaylen Brown on this Toronto roster, I'm all for it. I'm going to give him an offer. I don't know if this is going to be good enough. Let's see if we can get Jaylen Brown. Okay, we would have to offer more, I think. But we're going to try. Let's just see if we can pull this off. I don't know if we'll be able to. But there has been some rumors about Jaylen Brown to Toronto. Obviously, that's from a trade, not just going out there and signing with them. But let's give him as much as we can give him. I don't think we're going to get him, but it's definitely worth a shot. Because That gives us 44 million to still re-sign. Let's see, does that change? No. So Jaylen Brown is right now not going to be possible, I don't think. We are going to sign Siakam. Jaylen Brown, he accepts another offer. I'm going to gamble for a second. I don't know if this is going to work out for me, but OG right now has no offer. So obviously we got Siakam locked up. We're not going to renounce OG. I want to see if Jaylen Brown's going to fall out. If he falls out, we can strike again. And then Melton, of course, I want to try to bring him back if I can as well. So Siakam is locked up. Jaylen Brown, I don't believe fell out. He is not here. Okay, so if we wanted to go ahead, just resign all of our guys here, we can do that. But that was definitely something I wanted to entertain. Is there anyone else that I would rather get over OG? Is there something else I'd rather do? Do I want to sound like a Desmond Bane who's unrestricted for some reason? I mean, I don't ever get Desmond Bane. Right now, Desmond Bane would be our shooting guard if we moved on from OG. Barnes is our 3, Siakam is our 4 with Boucher, and we have Koloko as our backup 5 with Pirtle as our center. Do I want to go with OG, or do I want to resign or sign someone else who I think would give us a higher ceiling? I almost want to sign someone else, and I'm leaning towards signing Desmond Bane. I don't ever get Desmond Bane, ever. Like, literally never get him. He's younger. He is asking for a little bit more money, though. Then Claxton is also a fun idea. But you know what? Give me Desmond Bane. That gives us a little bit more cap space still to resign D'Anthony Melton as well. And then I think I have to renounce OG, and obviously, unfortunately, I'm going to renounce Achua as well. But if we can get Desmond Bane and D'Anthony Melton and move on from OG, I think I'm okay with that. Bane is our brand new shooting guard. I love it. I don't know why Memphis lets him go, but he's here. He's unrestricted. So we're going with that. Melton, Wallace, Desmond Bane is our new 2 in Toronto. Barnes is our 3. Siakam, Boucher, and then we'll have Jakob Koloko as our 5 spot. So we need a backup wing player. So we got like Bogdan, Karis LeVert, Malik Beasley, or even like Buddy Hield, who is a little bit older, Diallo, Okogie. So a lot of decent options, but I'm going to go with Malik Beasley as our brand new backup shooting guard. So that is what we're rolling with. Is there anyone else? Banton? Is there anybody else I can bring back? I think Banton might come back in his qualifying offer. So we moved on from OG and went with Desmond Bane. Bane is someone I don't think I've literally ever gotten unless if I was using Memphis. So I'm definitely intrigued. This is our brand new big 3 with Wallace still developing as well. We got to the 3rd seed last year, so we're looking for a higher ceiling. Obviously, I really wanted Jaylen Brown. That was my dream scenario, but Bane is also really cool as well. That's not a bad player to replace OG with, as OG doesn't really develop too much. So I'm feeling good about it. So instead of trading away Siakam and OG like I thought I was going to, we're keeping Siakam, and we've just moved on from OG. Just simply moved on from him. So I think I loaded the long draft class, but we'll fix that in a second. Let's go to rotation. Rotationally, it's going to say Melton as the point guard still, but I'm starting Wallace. Wallace proved that he could be a starter. So Melton, we're going to go ahead and have you come off the bench. I want you to be the backup point guard still, while Wallace is the starter, because that seemed to work out very well last year. Wallace proved himself. So unfortunately for you, D'Anthony Melton, you are going to stay a backup, and Wallace is going to start. So it'll be Cason Wallace, Desmond Bane as our backcourt with Barnes, Siakam, Jakob Poeltl, Boucher, Melton, Banton, and Malik Beasley. Koloko is going to keep developing in the background. He'll be our backup center eventually. And proficiency, we're a 4-star balance. And then I do want to look at Desmond Bane's shot tendency. It is a 76. I'm going to boost that up even further, just a little bit more. Let's go like 82, something like that. And I'm going to go ahead and celebrate this season. We'll see how things are going. If I stop the trade deadline and make an upgrade, I shall show you. But hopefully, there's no need to do so. So at the end of the season, we once again win over 50 games and are the 3rd seed in the East. So obviously, we're still a contender in this Eastern Conference, which is awesome. Barnes with 25. 21 from Desmond Bane, so proving as a really good signing for this team. Siakam with 17, and then 16 from Cason Wallace. 10 from Melton, 9 from Jakob Poeltl, then 9 from Boucher, 7 from Beasley, and 7 from Banton. But let's even get past Orlando in round 1 to get back to round 2. They have Markelle Fultz, Suggs, Franz Wagner, Boncaro, and Vucevic is back in Orlando, so that's interesting. Game 1, we're up 1-0, though. We beat them by 11. Barnes had 29 in that game 1. Game 2, up 2-0. Game 3, 3-0. Do we sweep Orlando like that? We do, and now we get Cleveland in round 2. And once again, it's one of those Eastern Conference teams that's just really tough to beat. They got Donovan Mitchell, Okoro, Mobley, Allen. We know how this is going to go. We ran into Atlanta last year, and this year we run into Cleveland. So I feel like if it weren't for Cleveland or Atlanta, we might be a contender here. But we do win 1 game, and we're down 3-1. It might be similar to last year. We get bounced in 5 again. So obviously, we are not beefed up enough to take down Atlanta or Cleveland, because we've lost to both of them, and those are the 2 top teams in the East you have to worry about, at least here in 2K. So you got to find a way to get better. We got to find a way. So before draft night, as much as I do like our center and Jakob Poeltl, he just doesn't really progress in 2K much more than what he is right now. So I think that's a position that I'm looking to upgrade the most, because obviously Barnes, Siakam is our forward spots, Bane, and then we're definitely going to roll with Wallace as our point guard. So Jakob Poeltl is kind of the last guy that's just kind of on the unfortunate side of things. So I'm going to try to trade Jakob Poeltl away for one of two centers, and they're both, they were actually both in the Eastern Conference Finals this last year. So either Bam Adebayo or Robert Williams. So if I can get one or the other, that's who I want. So not really sure which one I'd rather have. I mean, they're both kind of in the similar boat, but Bam is making more money. So I feel like Bam would be a little bit harder to pull off if we tried, but we'll see. He's averaged 17, 1 blocks per game. Obviously, Bam is a really good defender. So if we can get Jakob Poeltl, and let's say we threw them, I don't know, Malik Beasley, and then like all the picks that we could throw at them to go all in on this. Jakob Poeltl, Beasley, 1 first, and then let's say 1 more, because I feel like that's what Bam would go for. He's on the last year of his deal. This would be our way of going all in. Let me offer it. They do not agree. So if we don't offer this for Bam, I don't want to offer much more than that. Let's try for Robert Williams instead. I'm going to lessen the offer a little bit. Let's say it's just this, where we trade Poeltl, Beasley, and 2 first-round picks for Robert Williams. They do not agree. They're contenders, so they're not even thinking about it. I'll offer that same idea that I did to Bam, and we get Robert Williams. So Robert Williams is our brand new center, and honestly, I think he's going to fit a lot better anyway. So Robert Williams is our brand new 5. He's just going to be a bigger upgrade over Jakob Poeltl. He's going to do, I mean, he's just a better overall. That's just basically what it comes down to at this point. So let's go straight to player options. We trade our first round pick. We're literally in the contender mode at this point. Wallace, we're accepting. Qualifying offers Barnes, Banton, and Koloko. All 3 guys that I want back. Literally all of them, because Koloko is probably going to be our backup center this next season. So Giannis, I don't have enough money to get. Ooh, I almost have enough money to go for Giannis, like literally, but I would have to renounce like Barnes, obviously, which I'm not going to do. So let's not do that. So what I'm going to do is we're going to re-sign Banton, Koloko, Boucher, and Barnes. So I think we're going to basically just bring everybody back. We're going to have a really good bench, and we'll be ready for next season. So let's go ahead and offer Boucher his deal. Let's offer Banton his deal. And let's offer also Koloko. Actually, I got to wait for Koloko because it's going to glitch if I don't. It says renounce the rights on Barnes. That literally makes no sense to do, so we're not going to do that. Let's make sure we don't renounce Barnes. That would be stupid. And Koloko, I think we're good. And then we'll re-sign Koloko and Barnes here. So Barnes, going to give him his 5-year deal that he deserves. And then Koloko, I'm hoping he develops into like an 80 overall. Hey, let's renounce Scotty Barnes. Why not? We're not doing that. 2K, thank you for your stupid suggestion, but that would be dumb. All right. You can also sign one more good player, but Melton, Wallace, Delano Banton. I think we can move Melton to the 2 now if we wanted to go ahead and just go with that. So Melton can stay the same at the 2. So it's Wallace, Banton, Bane, Melton, Barnes, Siakam, Boucher, Robert Williams, Koloko. So I guess we need a backup small forward if we wanted to bring anything else in. And I saw Josh Hart, and I think I want Josh Hart. So Josh Hart, welcome to Toronto. Could have had him if you would have traded with Portland, and you could have had Toronto could have had Josh Hart and Shaedon Sharpe, but they decided not to accept that trade. Instead, they have OG still. I wonder if Toronto fans would rather have that right now. Regardless, though, Boucher is down, which is to be expected, but Koloko is up. Wallace is up to an 80, and obviously we upgraded with Robert Williams. So I'm hoping this year, after we made that all-in move with Robert Williams, that we're about to be a team that can win the East this year. Hopefully. Once again in the East, we ended up as a 50-win team. This time, we're the 2nd seed in the East, but to be exact, we went 54-28. Taking a look at the player stats, you had 25 from Barnes, 20 from Desmond Bane, 19 from Cason Wallace, so he's developed so nicely for us. 17 from Siakam, 11 from Josh Hart, 10 from Melton, 8 from Robert Williams with 10 rebounds and 2.5 blocks, then 7 from Boucher and 6 from Delano Banton. So here we go. Detroit in round 1. We've made it to round 2 2 years in a row now. Obviously, we're looking to do it again, but this time actually get past the 2nd round. So can we beat Detroit in round 1? Someone in current round, and we beat them in 4. Once again, take care of business, but now we get Milwaukee, which they have Jason Tatum and Donovan Mitchell. So, and Ingram. Okay, very interesting Milwaukee roster. They no longer have Giannis, Holiday, or Middleton. Instead, it's Mitchell, Tatum, and Brandon Ingram. Kind of weird, not going to lie, but here goes nothing. Game 1, down 1-0. Game 2, down 2-0, or never mind, we even it up. Game 3, 2-1. Game 4, 2-2. Game 5, 3-2. Do we beat them in 6? Yes, we do. Win these conference finals. Let's go. We finally got past round 2, and I'm hoping Cleveland beats Atlanta. I really am, because Cleveland doesn't have Donovan Mitchell anymore, so that makes them a little bit more easier to beat, although they did add DeMar DeRozan, so who knows. Atlanta is gonna win, aren't they? Yep, of course we play Atlanta in game or in the conference finals. Okay. Trae Young, Murray Hunter, Collins Okongwu, AJ Griffin, Jet Howard, Jalen Johnson. Atlanta's gonna be the reason why we don't win a championship, aren't they? Here we go. Game 1. Beat them by 6. Trae Young with 20 and 11, 23 from Barnes with 23 from Siakam. Game 2, they even it up. Game 3, 2-1. Game 4, 2-2. Game 5, please. We're down 3-2. So we have to play Atlanta in game 6. I don't know if we'll be able to force a game 7 back to Atlanta, but here goes nothing. We start off with a really good lead in the first quarter, but they make it a close game. Now we have to lead again. Now, can we hang on to it is the question. We do beat them in game 6, so we force a game 7 back to Atlanta. Now, can we beat them in Atlanta to go to the NBA Finals? We start off the first quarter very hot. For the second quarter, they get back in it. We have the lead right now. Hang on to it, though. Hang on to the lead. We're in the finals. We're that close. We're in the NBA Finals, ladies and gentlemen. We're playing the Houston Rockets. We beat Atlanta in 7. And now we get to play Amin Thompson in the Rockets. So we have Middleton, Jabari, Şengün. They no longer have Jalen Green, though. So that might bode well for us. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Game 1, 1-0 lead. We beat them 124-92. Game 2, 0-0 lead. Game 3, 3-0. Do we beat the Rockets in 4? We have brought Toronto their second championship in franchise history with Barnes and Siakam. We didn't even trade Siakam, by the way. Feels like every Raptors rebuild that I do, I usually trade away Siakam, but this time we actually kept him. So it was kind of a beautiful video. Barnes, Desmond Bane, Siakam, Rob Williams, and Cason Wallace gets the job done. Thank you guys for watching. As always, I will see you guys in the next video. You guys are amazing. This is Crushables. I'm saying peace. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you click here to watch another video that I know you'll love.